Hello, this is the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and as we try to each and every day, we try to come to you with some type of daily tidbit information, what's going on throughout the world of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, the MEAC Conference, as well as Junior College Region 14 with Glenn Buccaneer Report, local and high school regionals for the Waller Bulldogs, the Hempstead Bobcats, the Royal Falcons, the Rose Hill Christian Eagles, and much more. You can join us each and every day by way of our website at obn-radio.com. Listen to our programming, whether you're in the local area at 87.9 FM. If you're outside the area, simply dial 605-477-5066. And we will keep things flowing each and every day. Yesterday, we were fortunate enough to hear from the voice of the Texas Southern Tigers, and that was none other than Chatterbox, Mr. Larry Hale. And he and I went back and forth having a good time, as we always do, talking about it and supporting, sharing our love for our respective universities, in this case, Prairie View A&M University and Texas Southern University. And we were talking about the situation of Harvey and its residue left behind, that of Hurricane Harvey, how the events this year has postponed the Labor Day Classic to be played on Thanksgiving weekend. We were going back and forth, hashing out whether or not this would be a good thing to simply try a new tradition. We know that things have been tried in the past, and how do you think it would hold out? Well, I'm going to be taking somewhat of a poll throughout the rest of this week and probably a couple of weeks after that, just to get your take as listeners and supporters of Texas Southern or either Prairie View A&M University. Would you be okay with the Labor Day Classic being remarketed and probably rescheduled to be moved to that Thanksgiving Day weekend or somewhere later throughout the course of the season? Rename it to whatever classic you want to name it, and have Texas Southern and Prairie View do battle in the latter part. Now, there are a couple of factors that would be contributing to this, and there's so many, but as I said, we'll have this poll going up, and you can participate in the poll by either joining my Twitter handle, which is Radio Guy, and it's Radio Guy 22 for Twitter, and it's Radio Guy for Instagram. So we're going to try to shoot that poll out both ways to see, would you be in favor of moving the game permanently between Texas Southern and Prairie View to the Thanksgiving weekend? Now, the pros for moving the game to the weekend of Thanksgiving. The pros of this: you are not going to be playing the game in the middle of hurricane season. The last couple of seasons have been a contributing factor. The initial opening of the new Panther Stadium saw a 7-hour broadcast delay with thunderstorms and flash lightning and things of that nature. And of course, this year, Harvey just totally wiped out everything. Another factor that you could do, majority of the rivals throughout the nation, when there's true rival game, they are always played on that final week of the season. And so why not follow suit, if you would, with the rest of America and line that game up? A couple of factors on why you would not want to change the Labor Day Classic. Number one, it is a unique and established tradition between Texas Southern and Prairie View. Number two, it really heightens the anticipation of that game because both teams, for the most part, with the exception of this last year, incorporating games in week 0, but most teams, they come out untested, unproven, if you will, and there's a lot riding on that game that plays out throughout the course of their regular season. And number three, what if both teams are struggling throughout the course of that year? Will it still have the drawing factor? Will it still have that lure factor that would make people want to come out to watch the competition between Prairie View and Texas Southern? And would you be directly going up against the already established Bayou Classic between Grambling and Southern University? Would there be room for Prairie View, Texas Southern, Thanksgiving Day weekend? Now, there are a couple of options on the board. Of course, that Grambling Southern game for the Bayou Classic is played on that Saturday. It's picked up by NBC right now, at least an NBC affiliate, CSNBC or Sports NBC, something of that nature. Now, you could actually play that game on Thanksgiving Day. I know that Alabama State plays the Turkey Day Classic. That is so far across the other region of the conference, I don't think that would be an initial impact. You could play that game on a Friday, whether a midday event or a night event, or you can actually go up to play it that Saturday and see what happens. I believe this year would be a very good gauge to determine whether or not you continue to move forward with Texas Southern and Prairie View playing on that Thanksgiving weekend. Of course, the rescheduling for the Labor Day Classic has been moved to the last day or the weekend of November during the Thanksgiving season. And I guess some other side notes that you need to weigh in and factor if this is the case, that you choose to take that game to the Thanksgiving weekend, which is right around the time when the FCS playoffs begin to bolster up. Now, with no championship game being played, it does eliminate the potential playing of, or not restrictions, it does restrictions for FCS play. So it's one of those deals. If you decide to play that game, if Prairie View or Texas Southern are eligible for the FCS playoffs, would you be willing to forfeit your chance of going to the playoffs for the sake of playing this rival game? A lot of things to be factored, a lot of checks and balances that need to be established in order to get things taken care of and laid out. We're going to see how all of this plays out in the very near future as we continue to give you the updates and the information of all that are going to be, in effect, a possibility of changing the outcome of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, in particular, Prairie View and Texas Southern. Both teams will be getting back in stride again with their first conference game of playing. Of course, the Prairie View A&M University Panthers will be on the road taking care of Alabama State. A very critical game for both teams. Of course, it is the opening of conference play. Coach Jenkins and the Hornets trying to regroup themselves, get a sense of direction, just as Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons and the Panthers trying to get things established for their opening debut. Texas Southern will be taking on Alabama A&M. Another big game. Coach Spady and the Bulldogs trying to get things established and taken off. Now, we had a game last week that may be confusing to others, especially if you're not in tune with the rearrangement and the alignment of the Southwestern Athletic Conference for this 2017 campaign. Grambling State was victorious over Jackson State last weekend, but that game will not count in the final SWAC standings due to the 7-game mandate that the presidents and the ADs agreed upon. That game does not count. So it continues to confuse those that would be keeping up with the Southwestern Athletic Conference. So as a result, something's going to happen. The Panthers, not just the Panthers, but all teams involved have made these adjustments to their schedule a couple of years prior with the 7-game format. but they're going to have to do something about making an amendment or some type of bylaw where they can go back to the 9-game play for the conference to be able to get the rebalance, if you will, because with the elimination of the championship game, you now have put everything in a funk. So we're going to see how things will hold fast and how they continue to move forward. So that is enough of our Southwest Athletic Conference SWAC report. Of course, with our MEAC side, we'll hear each and every week from Coach Mike London and Coach Kenneth Carter. Kenneth Carter, of course, of the Delaware State Hornets, and Mike London of the Howard Bison. Howard Bison so far with the upset of the year, knocking off UNLV Rebels by the upset win in Las Vegas, Nevada. So both teams open up with conference play as well as they'll get ready to try and regroup and get themselves back on track. And speaking of getting back on track, the Blinn Buccaneers will be going to Kilgore this weekend to try to extend their record to 4-0. So the Buccaneers football broadcast, of course, heard exclusively here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, as well as updates for all the SWAC, MEAC, SIAC, and don't forget our local high school and regional coverage for our high schools in the area. Once again, if you're in the Prairie View city limits, you can listen by going to 87.9 FM. You can also go to our website at obn-radio.com. You can also check us out on TuneIn. The app is Open Mic Broadcast Network. That is OPEN, capital MIC, all one word, Broadcast Network. And don't forget to follow us on our social media. At Instagram, it is Radio Guy. At Twitter, it is Radio Guy 22. And on Facebook, it is Open Mic Broadcast Network. As always, it is a joy and a pleasure to bring you these updates, information, and keep you abreast of what's going on throughout the world of college sports. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and as always, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.